in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Slossin' that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now. But you got a soul to save. I just been cooking that new. I'm about to drop in a few. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game. Now my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves. Quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch, fresh out the county with nothing to lose.
No, on the ground, yeah. But I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. Yeah. But my money red, that you do. Oh yeah, so I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. Oh, I told her I got.
Like I never left. Stand for some shit that you never read. Passing through stages in life, through the ups and the downs, like it's all just another test. Live by the rules like a fucking ref. I got respect in 100 sets. Too many chains, need another chest. Playing no games if it wasn't chess. Cut from that cross that you couldn't stretch. Cut from that circle you couldn't test. Heavily pressured and under stress, even though niggas ain't sure we was a mess. Honest attempt playing to the left. Judge a young nigga by their address. Left is no option, what they expect? Only thing we knew for sure is the bang the set. Fuck living basic, I'm taking risks. Fuck what they saying, I'm saying this. Don't waste your testament, don't make you rich, it don't mean nothing, so fuck them, let's make a grip. Double up, triple up, make assists. Ballin' so hard you can pay a bitch. Lean to the lake if they wanna fish. Make sure them niggas around you stick to the script. It should be written in stone. You should come visit my zone. Don't take my word, double check all of my flows. Ask them how hustle got on, but fuck what you heard. It's for who walk down that road. Sold everything but they sold. Third off the curb. Real niggas rich as you nerds. Address the whom and make it. Look, lot of niggas feel what I want. Lot of niggas fold, but I cope. Lot of niggas gone, but I'm home. Lot of niggas off, but I'm on. Lot of niggas lost on this road. Couple niggas gave up they goal. Gang of niggas traded they soul. But me, I'm standing on 10 toes. Looking out my Benz window. Wonder where my friends all go. Scared to give my heart to this girl. Paranoid she gon' leave if my hands get low. Knowing that this game to be played, but I'm knowing that this game to be changed. I should be afraid of afraid. I'm just trying to live up to the meaning of my name. I'm just trying to live up to the niggas in my gang. I'm just trying to live up to my moment on the stage. I'm just trying to live up to the truth of my pain and the power that it gave me on the youth for today. I put a coupe in a safe, and I shoot from the waist. My time is money, and I ain't got a second for you flukes and you fakes.
How do we dream of my walls? How do we dream of my niggas? How do we dream of my brother? How do they dream of my niggas? Yeah. How do we dream of my walls? How do we dream of my niggas? How do we dream of my brother? How do they dream of my niggas? Yeah.
We been taking trips more than often this month. When I call, he pulling up 2, 3 stream up. You ain't doing enough for the clan. How I feel if I gotta sit it down? How the fam gon' feel? 120 in a euro, one hand on the wheel. I was just broke, ran through a $250,000. They leave him still here. Shed tears for the dead. Cubes in my thought of change, she don't even wear. Pop my little brother up, you know we took it there. Real nigga telling on me, only thing that I fear. Yeah, only thing that I fear. Real nigga telling on me, only thing that I fear. A lot of niggas queers, a lot of dope in the air. A lot of niggas queers, a lot of dope in the air. Styrofoam contaminated, got a nigga meditating. Yeah, I said it, got a nigga meditating. I can't even eat, listen medicated. I can't even sleep, listen medicated. I've been on my feet, chasing check after check. Nigga week after week, cause I'm dedicated. I can't even eat, listen medicated. I can't even sleep, listen medicated. I've been on my feet, chasing check after check. Nigga week after week, cause I'm dedicated.
I was been supposed to change up. I was been supposed to fold all this pressure. I was been supposed to change up. Nigga, what would I look like? I come from the hood, I represent the only way up. Had to hustle, boy, I'm trying to touch the toy. I'm trying to fuck these LA streets up. Think it's safe to say that I did it, look, nigga, poster boy, cause I'm a street survivor and they know this wrong. Before rap, we was Rolling Stones. I drove a Cutlass coupe, a cop a cortisone. Front of the building on my mobile phone, I'm thinking pace myself, cause you can overdose. Not on the drugs, but the life you chose. Like hanging niggas down like
Cool. Let's get it. Let's get it. Sweet. As always. Alright, a little recap from yesterday. Check out these relatively equal lows. Right. After entering this 1 hour Sibi, right, taking the highs there in London, leaving some relatively equal highs. Right. Took the longs. Right. After a shift in market structure. After taking out multiple lows here, right, all that pre-market, New York Stock Exchange pre-market, taking out a bunch of lows, right, purging a bunch of sell-side liquidity. Little shift in market structure, right, understanding the probabilities and the conditions of staying inside, this range. Right, so we're kind of just consolidating inside of here. So we're kind of just looking at session liquidity. Right, so we're aiming for the single highs inside that 1 hour Sibi. But what do we end up doing? We end up drawing down, right, lower, and purging a bunch more sell-side liquidity. Right, previous day's low, and multiple days lows. And now we're kind of almost exactly where we are yesterday morning. Right, very similar. But as always, let's start back up at the top. Yeah, so at the start of this week we had a potential busy forming, right? We had this open, right? But now we've dropped down, barely tapped into this weekly inefficiency, right? This busy here. And now we've immediately, right, traded higher, and we have about a day and 8 hours away from the close on this weekly. So that's looking actually pretty solid, right? Look at that. The wick just taps in there, right? Fills a little bit of inefficiency in right before moving higher. If we go to the daily, same thing. Right, we're kind of working out of this daily Sibi here. And taking the highs out, trade a little bit deeper into that volume imbalance. Candle body looking like it respects that volume imbalance here, but we still have this this busy open right here. Right, but it's kind of looking like we're getting right on the higher time frame. And I think that's why taking little shifts in market structure. When the overall right scenario is, it looks like right, we already purged Thursday's last week low. Right, we purged this low here as well. Displace right after barely tapping into those 4 hour Sibis, right, purging that buy side liquidity. Right, we traded back up into here. We got some displacement. Right, created this 4 hour Sibi as well as this small little 4 hour Sibi. And so possible 4 hour shift in market structure. 4 hour busy here that we could draw towards. And we also have that small little 4 hour inefficiency here, that Sibi. We drop to the 1 hour. Looks like it overlaps with that 4 hour. Short-term low here. Right, a lot of buy-side inefficiency down here. Right, we had a huge new day opening gap. Right, that could be a possible magnet for price as well. Right, plus these inefficiencies. Dropping down to the 15-minute. 15-minute had some short-term. It has a short-term low right here. Right, overlaps with those 1 hour inefficiencies. Kind of gets a little bit more specific. Right, we have a 15-minute inefficiency right there. Dropping down the 5-minute. Right, we're taking a couple highs. We had news at 8:30, which I think, yeah, is this high. We just purged that high there. We created relatively equal highs with that. Purged through it, right? And if we get displacement below the short-term low, we can retrace down here, right? It's just an immediate, right, walk up from London session. And we have the new day opening gap here, right, that we could draw towards, as well as some let's see if we got it. Yeah, we have one single low, right, inside of that inefficiency, right, which is sell side liquidity. Right, that we're getting towards, right, that's on top of two 15-minute busies. Also have new day opening gap down here as well, so this could be a draw. See, we're about to get a possible 5-minute shift in market structure here, right? If we get that displacement below this short-term low here, that would be a shift in market structure all the way down to the, right, all the way down to the 1 minute, right? You got the 5-minute, 3-minute, that's the same short-term low, right here. 2-minute, same short-term low, right? 1 minute as well. Alright, but we don't have a short-term high here. We just have relatively equal highs. So let's be patient here. Right, if we get a shift in market structure on the 5-minute, we leave that SIBI open. Right? We're looking for a smaller time frame shift in market structure. Alright, we got no other red folders for the day. Right, just that 8:30 news, right, which we already purged that high. We got about a minute 40 left in this 5-minute candle. See if we can get some displacement, right, to the downside and create that fair value gap. Right.
You might get a strike, man, but that ain't gonna pay for the strollers. It's never enough to console her. Tell her your daddy a soldier. She needs you right now in this moment. Now dead on your back pushing roses. To me, I'm just carving a sculpture. With fine-tuning my approaches. Doubling back as the owner. The moment of truth is opponents. Call them promoters.
Rolling with my friends, not a worry. Then we get stopped by the police. Gotta make it home to my baby. 'Cause these days niggas going crazy. Gotta make it home to my baby. 'Cause these days niggas ain't me. Gotta make it home to my baby. Hold up, yeah, look. I bet I'ma make it home to my baby.
Alright, coming up on the first AM macro here in about 5 minutes or so. Looks like we are, let's see here, a couple of seconds. Yep, we're gonna get that close below that short-term low, but immediately filling in that potential SIBI. See that right there? There's about to be a SIBI form, right? And we just immediately filled it right there. I just went to the low. That candle's low right here, this 9:35 a.m. low, right? Just tapped that low. So sit on the hands for a little bit more. Right, wait for some more price action to form. We got the first AM macro here in about 5 minutes.
Back on that shootout at the beach, 20 deep. You tried to squeeze, your gun jammed, and they released. Blood on your teeth. How many stains? I see 3. The bitch started to panic, so I made her switch seats. Driving there, police chopper here fly. am I dying now? All I know is keep you calm and collected. Cracking jokes like, nigga, now you gon' be finally respected. See your blood leaking, got my foot on his gas. Toss the 40, we pull up to Daniel Free and see crash. You know the alibi, they start shooting, we was standing by. Ain't see nothing but flare from the talents fly. I wasn't there, I was passing by. Matter of fact, don't say shit, I'm just gonna drop you in the back and slide. That's your weed, all the cash is mine. I take them both to the spot, plus your phone till you back online.
Yeah, I'm tryna go down, down as a grave. Every night I get on my knees and pray that I will go down. Yeah, I will go down. Yeah.
Legendary moves, leader of my crew. Heavy is the head that wear the crown, that shit true. Do it like Nip Hustle, that's to fill some big shoes. And what good is excuses when the fucking Bristol? Smoking all that Sindo, run away from my pain, rosemary on my temples. Heard that's good for migraines, solo in my benzo. Exit off the highway, solitary thoughts like how to reinvest my side
I'm
change.
tryna go down, down as a grave. Every night I get on my knees and pray that I will go down. Yeah, that I will go down. Yeah, I'm tryna go down, down as a legend. Every night I aim, God for the blessing. Yeah, I will go down. Yeah, I will go down. Yeah.
Nah, so many niggas doing time. Who are you and I? To play with it, it's a blessing, so reach for the sky. Pick up Shady off the block and we'll smoke and drive. Politicking on the block to make it multiply. Keep some bitches on the team from the other side. Keep at least a pound of
Yeah, we could
green,
trade,
right?
right? Possibly draw up, trade up into this. Is the 1 hour? No, it's the 4 hour. That 4 hour inefficiency, right? Small little guy, but it's there, right? That's inefficient right there. Which the high of that candle is, we're looking at 56.40.75. 56.40.75. Alright, since we filled that imbalance in, trading to this 3-minute inefficiency. Alright, which is only a 3-minute efficiency, so not too much emphasis on it.
I'm from Westside, California. They run a bone. Ask you where you from and check your tats under your clothing. Hustle, go hard, make sure my knot's swollen. Fuck you, say the wrong hood, bullets explode, and I trust you. People these days, cause that's gold. I see niggas get killed for who they roll with and chose to keep inside they circle, Satan sitting on your sofa. Same nigga that shot you was the one you used to smoke with. Cold shit, my whole clique notorious. You heard of us, 6 souls is murderers. You still serving clubs, jealous nigga, you broke as fuck. Yo, bitch on my nuts, spilling Patron out my cup. She can't get enough, buffing me down as I puff on the finest kush. They say I be doing too much, I just do my
Yeah,
stuff.
so maybe we take the highs out one more time. It looks like we are going to take the highs one more time, and then right, we'll just keep on waiting. Alright, we're about to enter that first AM macro here. Alright, but it's relatively efficient. Alright, even if we drop down to the 5-minute, we pretty much filled in that entire 5-minute imbalance. Ooh, this 3-minute looks like it might be respected. The counter bodies so far are respecting. Right, wicks coming up, but the counter bodies are staying within inside this 3-minute Sibby here. And we just entered that first AM macro as well. Just entering that first AM macro.
Money turn 10, cross turn 2. Starting to see this life shit from a bird's view. We the ones that made millions off the curve, fool, in this rap shit.
Okay. Taking out the lows right there. Creating a possible huge inefficiency. at 12 handles. Right, talking about bigger ranges, right? The entire range at that moment, right, in the AM session yesterday, including London session, was about 18 handles. And then look at this one single candle here, right? Over 9 handles, right? One single candle. One single candle. Right. We have a pretty big range here, even on the 1 minute. We're looking at, yeah, 9 handles. Right. 9 handles, including spread. So I just gotta stay patient. Yeah, we're still looking at like 8 1/4 handles. Right, 8 handles. So, but we are taking out this short-term low in balance. Nice little shift in market structure after, right, we traded below this low in the 5 minute. Looks like we're possibly generating some buy side liquidity, right, by making relatively equal lows. That is good. That means that could be something that we could draw towards, right? We also have relative on the 5 minute relatively equal lows, right, which is this low is that single low on the 15 minute. So we could definitely want to start drawing towards there. Yeah, 3 minutes, getting some good displacement. Good displacement after purging the buy side liquidity. Right, good displacement after purging buy side liquidity. Right, trading up into that 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute inefficiency. Right, those SIBIs that we created earlier in the week. Well, actually, I think those were created yesterday. Yeah, never mind. Yesterday. Inefficiencies we created yesterday. Alright, we also have this 15 minute short-term low, which we just traded below. Alright, but let's see if we can get that displacement, right, to the downside. And then we'll be looking for a shift in market structure, right, inside that inefficiency, if it gets formed. There we go, trading up into that 1 minute inefficiency.
In the 60s, caution to you rap niggas trying to diss me. I go hard, that's why your bitch wanna flip me. Big guns, nigga turn rivals into rosaries, extended clips. I give a fuck who you supposed to be. Straight off the block, I sold dope to buy groceries. Now it's rap money, no advances, all royalties. You broke, nigga, you can follow me. It's fuck bitches, get money, keep some hollow heads logically. And I'm for where homicide boost the economy. Pay taxes to these corners and putting in work as a policy. It's white chalk on the corners.
Alright, just tapped a little bit back into that 3 minute inefficiency. See if we respect the consequent correction of this wick, which is the 50% point of that wick. Alright, we should respect that. Candle body should respect that. Right, if price is wanting to draw lower, right, we already purged a single high, right, we generated buy side liquidity on the 15 minute after purging this high, right, so we purged that, right, and then we're getting some displacement to the downside. Got a little BTC alert. Okay. We're getting some decent sized volume candles. Look at that, 13 handles on the single candle off of no news at all. Right, there's no news. Alright, so now we're purging the That is very interesting. We should have respected that high, right? But we're not. And I think we've traded up into that 4-hour inefficiency as well. Let's see here. Just a little shy. A little shy, a little shy. Alright, it's kind of just going back and forth. I mean, we should have respected that high, right? If we were looking for that displacement, or we got that displacement, it was just on the 3-minute, right? But I would have expected this high to get not purged, right? So we'll just keep sitting on the hands here, right? Not trying to force anything. Like I was talking about yesterday, right? There's no rush to get out of drawdown. Like absolutely no rush. Right there. There's no reason to want to make it back. That's just like not how it works. Just because like you want to recover from drawdown right away doesn't mean like the market's just gonna like present opportunities to you out of nowhere just because you're in drawdown, right? So, right, still being super patient, waiting for price to do its thing, right? That we're looking for. Right. Would have liked to see this low generate some buy side liquidity or sell side liquidity by making it relatively equal with some other lows. Right, but man, this just keeps sitting on the hands. Sitting on the hands here a little bit longer. Yeah, I want to see some lower. Right, all we have is this, right? This single low inside this 15-minute busy. That's kind of like the only liquidity I see. Right, besides that same buy side liquidity that we had yesterday, right? Those relatively equal highs inside that 1-hour SIBI. Right. Other than that, though, honestly, I don't see that many obvious, super obvious draws on liquidity. Right, so kind of stay patient here. What up, Darren? Good morning. How's it? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, just kind of sitting on the hands for now. Yeah, the only draw on liquidity I see are those relative equal lows here. Right, they're relatively equal on the 5-minute, but on the 15 minutes, that single low inside that busy, which is, I mean, it's pretty small relative to all this price action. But honestly, I don't really see too much after that. Besides the fact that we're on the 15-minute, or what is this, the 5-minute? Let me see on the 15-minute. I mean, it's not as obvious. Right, the 15-minute is usually that bellwether. But we've taken this high with this high. We purged this high with this high. Alright, so right, we've purged a decent amount of buy side liquidity. Right, and we're also inside that. Oh, we're actually gonna close relatively strong right there. Right, that was a 4-hour candle right there. Right, because we had this 4-hour SIBI here. Right, that's how you can tell that we're ranging. Look at this range. Look at this range. All right, look at this. Displacement. Look at this. Look at this. Right. Displacement below the short-term low. Right. After purging some sell side liquidity. And then look at we take that high. Right. And then look at we purge below this short-term low. After trading up into this, respecting this 1-hour SIBI here. 4-hour SIBI as well. Right, you can see it's a little bit different. Some of it overlaps, some of it doesn't. Displacement, which is purging this low. And then it's looking like it just wants to take this. It wants to take this high, right? Not even respect this 4-hour SIBI here. You know, we're kind of just like literally just going after liquidity. Right. right? So we'll just stay patient, right? In no rush to get it back. I mean, especially if the draw on liquidity is not as obvious to me, definitely not something that I want to push super hard. I don't really want to push super hard anyways, so you know, just stay patient. We'll do some good reading. Right, see what price is showing us. Right. Dude, this little emoji is down. So crazy how we went down and recovered so fast. Yeah, that's kind of making me think that we just, right, if you're looking right here, look at this wick. I mean, we're just doing a lot of damage, right? And combine that, right, technicals, combine that with just like the overall narrative, dude, I think people are still like super bearish. Like legacy media, like different outlets, dude, they're still bearish. And it's like, obviously, right, the markets are wanting to draw higher, right? Look at, like, exactly, like, look how fast we recovered from that little sharp down, dude. And that was what, just from like off some little Japan carry trade nonsense, you know what I mean? It's like nothing that's actually significant. So that's like making me think we're still, I mean, we talked about this when we went out, right? Still super bullish, right? We were talking about that the last time we hung out, right? Just overall bullish in the markets, right? Combine that with like the seasonality of, we're gonna put it short-term low anywhere from August, right? August, September to October, November. You know, that's just like the seasonality of things. And I remember we were talking about that, and I mean, combine this with like narrative. I mean, come on, it's drawing towards all-time highs, right? Price is wanting to draw towards all-time highs. Right. Yeah, look at that. I mean, if you just, I like to look at this too. We can go on the continuous chart, right? The S&P continuous chart here. This on the weekly. Right, since is this the pandemic? Yeah, this pandemic right here. I mean, just looking this this leg right here. How many down close days are there? How many down close weeks are there? Right, not that many. Right, not that many. Right, relatively pretty bullish, right? So combine that with like the seasonality of this. I don't think we're gonna get stopped out of longs too often, in my opinion, right? I have been getting stopped off a couple longs, couple shorts on both sides, but I mean, just the overall like macro thesis, right? I still think that you know, still pretty bullish relatively. It's just finding a setup that like aligns with that day, you know what I mean? Right, that session liquidity, right? But the overall macro, right, has been bullish. But you know, we can still take shorts if the session liquidity is presented, right? Because then I was even looking at this, right? We traded up into that inefficiency, right? That 1 hour and 15-minute inefficiency.
That's the only distinguishing quality from me and probably whoever else going through this or went through this or is gonna.
But there was no, I guess you can count this at the open, right? I mean, like, if you're knowing the bias, right? The sell setups, we have this inefficiency right here on the 1 minute. But other than that, honestly, there was no real sell setups, like after purging like liquidity, like a decent amount of liquidity, right? We purged this short term right here, created this little inefficiency, right? Candle bodies are painting outside so much, right? We get displacement to the downside, work our way back up. I mean, we traded below this short-term low, where we have this inefficiency here as well, but it's not like it wasn't even super clean for the sell side, in my opinion, or for the sell setups to go short, and yet we got like this very exuberant downside move, you know? So, you know, we just have to I mean, I stick to what I know, right, in the niche. And I was kind of talking about that yesterday. It's like the first 6 months of the year, you know, very grateful. Market treated me very well, and you know, I didn't have a red month until July. So you know, we have a lot of, I look at like every setup, like when you become in the green, right? If we're looking like on the evaluating the year, right, I have a lot more tokens to put on setups, you know what I mean, like to basically tokens to put on more setups. I mean, yeah, that's like pretty much how I kind of look at it. What happened? Oh yeah, there we go. Right, so like losses are just like business expenses, right? They're like 100% a part of the game. And yeah, I it's hard to trip about it, because I mean they're just costs to play the game. You know what I mean? They're just the price that you have to pay. All right, the price that you have to pay, you know. And so like on like if you look on it like on a micro scale, you could say, oh my gosh, you're not having a good August, right? You're not having a good July. But like you zoom out, you look at this whole year, right? Still doing very well. Like market blessed me. I think I went like 6 or 7 winning green trades in a row, you know, earlier this year. So like, dude, if I stop loss is always less than 5. Okay, so we'll get into it, right? Stop loss is always less than 5 handles, right? So it could be anywhere from, you know, 2 handle stop loss to 5 handle stop loss, right? That's kind of like the range. TP is always 10 handles, right? So it's like you do 7 in a row, 6 in a row setups. That gives you enough tokens to at least put on 14 more setups and get stopped out, and that's break even. You know what I mean? And like the average stop loss, all the way the first 6 months of the year from January to June, right, was like 3.75 handles, right? So I have, you know, given myself enough cushion to put on many more setups, you know what I mean? And that's just knowing that's like a good model, right? That's kind of like a part of my edge as well, right? So much room, you know, so much room to put on more setups, and yeah, I don't need a trip about getting stopped out, right? That's the kind of way I look at it, right? Getting a lot more tokens to play more setups, right? And combine that, right? This is another little gem about my model. Combine that with normally, right, take less than 1 trade a week, you know? So it's like, dude, you know, I require a decent amount from the market to be presented in order for me to take a setup. We're about to take this short-term low here, right? After purging all those highs, trading up into that 4-hour imbalance. Right, we just traded up into that 4-hour imbalance. Right, that small little SIBI right here. Right, and we're just taking that low, right? This is very clean here. Let's look at the 15 minutes, see if there's any inefficiencies. Right, no inefficiencies that can kind of like want to. I mean, we have this 5-minute. That's something to watch out for. Right, but it looks like we might close in that full range. Right, let's see if we close that in or not. If we leave that open, yeah, we're closing that in. Right, but combine that with being like super selective with the setups, and my model doesn't get presented every single day, obviously. You know, I'm trying to stay in the game for, you know, as long as possible. You know, I think that's like in reality, that is the game that you're playing, right? Is to extract from the market and be able to trade the market as long as possible. You know what I mean? Like if you lose all your capital, then I mean you can't even if you have like the best skill set, it's like you can't even extract from the market because you have no capital. right? So it's like, as long as I'm able to, you know, have a model that keeps me in the game for like longevity, right? That's kind of like my goal, right? And that's why, like, managing risk, like, if you look at, right, another framework to look at getting stopped out right here is, look how much exposure I would have if I didn't have a stop loss. Dude, you're talking like, dude, this went down 70 handles past my stop loss. Bro, that's like blown accounts, right? That's like you losing all your capital on like a personal account, right? 70 handles on, you know, a full contract. I mean, that's like, what is that, like 3,000 bucks, 4,000 bucks? Just trading one contract. Yeah, 3,500 bucks. So it's like, you know, I'm very grateful that I do have a stop loss. You know what I mean? I'm grateful that I do get stopped out, because I don't want all that exposure to tell me that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the stop outs, I don't trip about them. That's kind of my logic and framework that I have around that. You know, I just keep pressing the button, keep documenting, and like you just keep getting better, right? You keep getting better. Have you ever heard of first principles thinking? I just looked into it a little bit more yesterday. Have you guys ever heard of first principles thinking? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. You guys know what that is? First principles thinking.
Tried to hit him up, now you wanna get him up and set it up and wet it up. Now I'm from the hood, checking niggas on the daily. Started off BG, OG, baby. Real life homie, 2 heaters in my seat. Had to check a nigga at the Compton swap meet. Where you from? I don't bang. Where you live? Where you hang? Say the wrong thing and bang. Lights out.
Alright, we kind of like completely, right? We didn't leave that to be open. Check out the 2 minute. Right, still respecting that 5 minute imbalance that we created here. Not yet. Okay, so I kind of knew about it, but without knowing the name of it. But it's basically boiling like problems down to their absolute truths. Right, boiling stuff down to their absolute truths, right? Obviously I don't know it to like the full extent that I want to know it, right? I'm still looking it up and researching it, but right, it's knowing things at the absolute truth. So like the example Elon Musk gives, right, he talks about first principles thinking a lot, is like batteries, right? Batteries are like everybody thinks they're super high to manufacture, and like when they first start manufacturing them. But then he boils it down to, you know, what are the batteries made of? And like, what are the raw costs, the absolute, like, bare minimal costs just for the materials, right? And it was like, I think per kilowatt hour, the batteries initially cost like, it was like 280 per kilowatt hour, something like that. And if you just look at the raw materials, it was like $80 per kilowatt hour. Right, so it's like boiling it down to the fundamental truths. And so like when you look at that, then it's our process that can bring the batteries down. So like let's see, a more better example would be, you know, the problem is, how would you want to grow? Like if your problem is, how do I grow good fruit? Like, how do I grow good fruit? Right? If you just look at the apple, then that doesn't really tell you much. But like, the apple is attached to the branch, right, which are attached to leaves. Right? If you keep going down the branches, then you have the trunk of the tree, and then the fundamental truth is like the roots and the soil, right? If you have good soil, right, then you're, you know, higher probability of creating good fruit. It's kind of like reverse engineering things to get what you want, like to solve the problem in a way that you want it, right? So it's like, right, it's like the apples. The problem is you want to grow good fruit, right? And you boil it down to like the most fundamental things, right? And you start checking those off and like start, you know, creating different types of soil. What does that produce you, right? It's kind of like a trial and error. And thing in that sense. But like when I think about like you know, it's like Bitcoin, right? If you think about Bitcoin as well, like what are like thinking about Bitcoin from first principles, you would boil it down to not like what is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just kind of like this, the fruit, you know what I mean? But you got to boil it down like what is money, like that would be like a very like the starting ground of understanding like how to create a good asset class or a good like currency, let's say, is you understand like, okay, what is money, right? What is money at like the fundamental level? What is money? That's what can kind of show you how to create some good fruit. Right. But it's kind of, I kind of look at things like that as well. It's just like kind of reverse engineering to, right? And reverse engineering problems to like the basic fundamentals, right? Like let's say you have like a leak, right? Or like you can't solve this problem like you're fixing on your car. It's like you go back and you look at everything that is like absolutely true and all the variables that are not true, like those are things that you can solve for, you know, if that makes sense. It's like you go down the list of like order of operations of like, okay, if I have a leak here, then it's like, okay, then you like check all the fittings and like you check all the lines, right? You check you know, all the caps and all that kind of stuff to kind of boil it down to where is the problem, you know what I mean? Which is very interesting. Alright, I think we're creating a little 1 minute. Not quite. Yeah, we're displacing above this level, but like the ranges today are super wide. So we'll more than likely be sitting on the hands. Alright, we're coming up on that 10:30 turn here in about 10 minutes or so. But it's like a interesting way of thinking. Right. I think Aristotle was like kind of like the first person to bring first principles thinking to light, if I'm not mistaken. You know, if you look at like just a car, right? A car is just like a composition of a bunch of other components, right? Steering wheel, metal, shaping the metal, you know, exhaust, a bunch of parts, right? Screws, right? Gas pedal, gasoline to make the car go, you know, all the electrical work that's going throughout it and stuff like that. So, you know, if you have like a problem, like let's say your car is like making a sound, right? You boil it down, you start going backwards, right? Kind of reverse engineer like what would make a sound. Like you follow the noise, right? Then the noise is leading to like a loose bolt or something like that, a loose belt, right? And you kind of just keep going down the line until you know, you cross out so many things that it kind of leads you to your solution. You know, you got like let's say your car's making noise, right? Then it's like, okay, then you follow the sound, right? Then you see a couple things rattling, then it's like, okay, what can make that rattle? You know, then you see like, oh, maybe there's like a loose bolt or like it's hitting something else, or like a wire's dangling, a bracket broke or something like that, and then oh, next thing you know, you fix that and then the rattling sound is gone. Right, so with that being said, right, I asked ChatGPT, right, check this out. I asked ChatGPT, what did I ask it? Let me see here. right? How can you think about trading from first principles? This is what I asked ChatGPT, right? How would you think about trading from first principles, right? Number one is like understand the market fundamentals, right? Develop a clear objective, right? Build your trading strategy, risk management, psychology and discipline. Iterate and improve, right? Automation and tools. Focus on longevity, right? By approaching trading from first principles, you're not just copying strategies that work for others. You're building a framework that makes sense to you and is grounded in fundamental truths about how markets operate. This way you can adapt to changing market conditions and become a consistently profitable trader. Right? Which is very interesting, because like it's boiling down to like the most fundamental truths. I know I talk about a lot of things, right? But there's only a few things, like I talked about this last week, I think. There's only a few things that I'm really looking for and like putting emphasis on, right? Number one is like, where's the market going? Like that is probably, if I get stopped out like how I'm getting stopped out here, it's like I don't understand clearly where the market is going and like where it's tilting its hand, right? Like where is the liquidity and inefficiencies? That is like the main thing on why markets are going to move towards somewhere or not move towards somewhere, you know? That's why like here, honestly, there is no clear liquidity besides that single low, like a super minuscule small single low inside of an imbalance, right? That is the only thing that I see as like clear liquidity, you know, and it's inefficiency as well. So it's like, other than that, right, honestly, I don't see too much obvious like inefficiencies or liquidity, right, besides those 4 hours. So like that's how like on what was this, Tuesday, just for those reasons I was able to switch bias, right, from being short to being long. You know, it's like those understanding those fundamental truths. Honestly, I can definitely get better on it, absolutely, but you know, building off that foundation, those are kind of like my fundamental truths, and like all the other stuff is pretty much just noise. I mean, number one, right, where's the market going, right? Where are the liquidity and inefficiencies? And then off of that, right, I look at, you know, how is like the quote unquote order flow of price, right? What is price, you know, shifting in market structure after purging liquidity? That's probably my next biggest thing, right? That is the next biggest thing, right? Is looking at that.
How you doing, baby? Don't skip nothing. No
You know.
playlist. This the best album in the world, baby. Very peaceful. You know.
Oh, you know, and all the other stuff is kind of just like
Get some game.
in confluence to those inefficiencies and
I'm sorry, sweetie.
those that liquidity, right? So like for example would be, you know, if price does shift in market structure and want to draw towards here, right, and it tilts its hand, right, it starts disrespecting this quote unquote like busies fair value gaps,
You know you're so beautiful.
you know, and it tilts its hand that it does want to start drawing lower.
Very peaceful.
I would look at, yeah, we got an inefficiency here, right, on the 15-minute, right, that 15-minute imbalance, as well as that single liquidity. What is also right here that it could draw towards, right, that could, in combination with this, be a magnet towards price. That's this new day opening gap right here, right? So, you know, but you need price to tilt its hand first, right? Because honestly, there's no, besides this buy side liquidity, right, there's no like obvious relatively equal highs, you know, relatively equal highs inside an inefficiency. There's nothing quite like that, right? Especially because there's a shift in market structure on the 4 hour, right? After purging this liquidity, or after displacing below this low, right? We respected this 4 hour SIBI, or yeah, we respected this 4 hour SIBI. Then we displaced this low, and then it's just like price is just flying through these inefficiencies, not even respecting them, you know. And then like we don't get any shifts in market structure down here, but we purge this low, which is liquidity, right? We don't fill in any inefficiencies, and then it just shoots up, right? Which is like, it seems strange, right? Markets, I mean, based on like my fundamental truths, like it's going back and forth, which like ICT will consider that low probability conditions, just like based on those things alone, you know. But he also has like so many more tools, like so many more fundamental truths that he has, that he's like able to navigate it a lot more efficient than me. But it's like I don't need to trade every single day, and like I've back tested the model so much that, you know, I'm comfortable with trading the one model, right? You can make all the, in my opinion, I can make all the money in the world just trading and waiting for my one model to present itself, you know. That's the kind of a little rant. But I just thought that is super like very interesting, right? The frameworks that how you think about certain things, right? Right? How do we think about getting stopped out? How do we think about trading from like first principles, right? How do you think about like Bitcoin from first principles? You know, how do you think about, you know, just like any problems kind of from that first principle thinking, which is like, I look at it as like reverse engineering how to get there, right? It's like, if I were to look at like, let's say like working out, building muscle, losing weight, if you think about it from like first principles, it's kind of like reverse engineering, like, well, like how many minutes are you exercising? Like what kind of exercises are you doing? You know, because at the end of the day, it's like, if you want to lose weight, it's just like burning calories, right? Excess fat on your body, right? That's like the fundamental truth of trying to lose weight, is like you have too much fat on your body, you know. And how do you burn that fat? I mean, there's different activities that burn fat at different levels, you know. And then in combination with your working out, it's like, what are you putting in your body? Is it like a net negative of calories compared to your working out? Is it a net positive, which would be gaining weight while working out, you know? And then what kind of foods I mean, it just like boils down like so many like nuances of like solving this problem of losing weight, you know what I mean? Same thing with like working out, running. I look at running like the same way. It's like we have this issue of, you know, I want to run a 50K in the hills. So it's like, in order to like set yourself better off for like a race, it's like, okay, how many miles do I need to put in every single week, right? What's the total miles that I need to get in order to race good? Like, what if you're looking at it from like a macro scale and you want to run for a long time and do well, what is the top miles that I need to run while training, right? So for this current training block, right, I need to get up to about 75 miles a week. So then like you reverse engineer that, it's like, okay, fundamental truths, you can only go max 10% a week. So then it's like, okay, if I need to get up to 75 miles per week, you know, then you can see how many weeks you need to train for, right, prior to the race, right? And then like within that, it's like, okay, now there's hills. That means I need to train a lot of hills, right? In order to run hills well, you have to have strong legs to be able to run the hills, you know. So what does that mean? That means like a lot of hill running. That means I need to strengthen my ankles, right? So I don't twist no ankles or get any injuries, right? Need to do, you know, that's a lot of miles on the body, right? And my body's not used to it, right? It's used to running, but not for long durations like that. So that means recovery needs to be on fleek, on fleek. That means what even is recovery, right? Recovery is good sleep, right? Recovery is giving your body enough time, enough rest in between sessions. Recovery is good nutrition in the body, right? Recovery is good hydration, you know. then it's like, what even is hydration? Just boiling everything down to like these fundamental truths, you know what I mean? And then that's how like you just, you know, get better and like start performing better and like getting like 1% better in all these different areas, which is fire. Right? That's how you get that upper leg. Just coming up on that 10:30 turn here. Right, we have some 8:30 a.m. news tomorrow, and then that will wrap up the week. I will stay on here for a couple more minutes. All right, looks like we keep on just wanting to draw higher, and yeah, we're trading up into this 1 hour Sibi that we were at yesterday, right? Trying to get up into. Right, I was aiming for those relatively equal highs inside that Sibi. It looks like price wants to draw up there and purge those, right? We filled in that 5-minute inefficiency here, right? Counter bodies respecting the imbalance. All right, so it's looking like we can purge that buy side liquidity that we were aiming at yesterday. Right, took a different little course, a different little route than I anticipated, but honestly this is all just noise because I don't stay on for the session, right? So my niche is staying in that first, you know, hour and a half of the New York Stock Exchange open, right, which is 9:30 to 11, but really focus on like that first hour. That's where I kind of want my trades to be taken in that first hour, unless it looks like it's about to do the thing, then, you know, I've taken trades at like 740, you know, 750. If I'm like very, very confident that we've already built liquidity, right? And yeah, we built liquidity in the direction that I think the market is going to go towards. Right, we're kind of just maybe like purging a short-term higher low. Right, look at that. We're generating more buy side liquidity, right, by stopping right before purging that buy side liquidity, right? So maybe price wants to move down, fill in any inefficiencies before purging that buy side. Yeah, so we have that we just filled in, just tapped into that 5-minute inefficiency right there. Right, so let's see if that's enough to get us up towards that buy side liquidity, right? Also, we just generated that short-term high right here. Usually, from my experience, right, when you generate liquidity like that, all you're doing, right, when price comes down, it's just filling inefficiencies one more time before going up and purging that liquidity, right, that it just generated. Right, like that's pretty consistent, you know.
woods on my lap in the pocket full of huns. I'm just checking my trash. To live like this, you gon' have to take L's. You gon' have to fall off. You gon' have to bounce back. Have you ever lost it all? 100,000 to a rack. I trade everything to have my grandma back. Had to cut baby off. She wasn't rocking like that. 15 for the sweats, cause I got it like that. Road trips was lovely. The money was good. First young nigga with the S5 in the hood. And I got it out the mud. Y'all ain't gave me shit. So this nigga started hating. That's when I got rich. And just like some
Alright, that's about it though. Coming to a wrap. Solid week so far. I mean, the past few weeks have been solid. You know, just given the conditions, right? For me personally, I mean, still staying like relatively disciplined. You know, in my opinion, honestly, like pretty disciplined. And right, staying course, right? Staying the course. I just demanding, you know, high accuracy from the market, right? That's why I think only taking. I think I misspoke yesterday. I forgot that we took 2 trades in one day. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 trades, including yesterday's setup, right, on the month, right? And we got the month closing here in a couple days. Or actually, tomorrow's the last day of the month, you know? So, actually, let's check out that monthly close real quick. All right, how did the wick? Damn, we had a huge wick. Look at that wick. Right, a huge wick. Come all the way down, right? Before it looks like we're gonna get a up close candle right on the close. Right, looking real nice here. Looking real nice. So, right, plenty of more opportunities. The rest of the year, the years to come. I mean, there's gonna be so many more setups, right? And so many more data entries to learn from, and you know, that's kind of like the best part. The best part about playing this game called life, playing this game called trading. You know, it's not a game it's not a game in like the aspect of risk management and like money, but it's a game on how there's so many nuances, right, in figuring out how to play each one, right, and how to like level up your character. Right. Maybe we could dive into that tomorrow, right? Analyzing trading as a game, analyzing, you know, kind of like life and all the different aspects as a game as well. You know. With that being said, I very much appreciate everybody, right, for tuning in and listening, and you know, watching either the live price action, the live stream, right, as well as the recordings, right? I appreciate you. If you guys have any feedback for me, would greatly appreciate that as well, right? You can either hit me up on Twitter, right, which I think the link is in the description. You can either DM me on Twitter, you know, at me on Twitter. Let me know what you're thinking. Questions, comments, concerns, observations. Let me know. I think it's in there. Let me see. Yeah. Twitter, Instagram DMs, whichever. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody. And we'll be back to finish up the week tomorrow. And until then, peace out.